You all are watching.
What up? It is Cole Ragic, the Ratty Daddy, and you're watching Cole TV. Let's go.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to our very special AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door prediction show for 2024. I'm Xlj the Og, joined by a cavalcade of wonderful people here. Of course, my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. B-Roll. And we've also
How
got
are we doing out there, world?
Oh, we're doing fine and dandy. I'm so excited to introduce everybody else. I forgot to let you get your shit in, brother. Sorry. Is that cheese curd you got there? Because you're so excited for Forbidden Door.
You know it.
Anyways, that being said, we also got one of the sexiest men I know on the planet. You know him, you love him. The one best Gout Machine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Megan the Stallion of Wrestle Talk is here.
Yeah, he is. And, of course, we have got PW60's New Japan expert himself, the CDC83.
Konnichiwa!
Scissor me.
That was adorable. Man, like not even a minute into the show and I already got an erection. Anyways, nonetheless, boys, Forbidden Door is upon us. Sorry, scissor. We'll scissor after this too. So we like to scissor here on Cold TV. But here we are, gentlemen. Yet another year and yet another Forbidden Door. I can't believe this is the third one. How crazy is that? I mean, B-Roll, I feel like it was just yesterday that we got to attend the first Forbidden Door there in Chicago, man. And here we are 3 years later, and we're back at it again. So
yeah, and like one of the reasons we wanted to go so bad, we were like, we don't know if they're ever going to do anything like this again. Here we are, 3 years later.
Here we are, 3 years later. Yeah, and thank God. Now I will say this: I think, guys, this year's kind of a different feel for Forbidden Door, but it's not a bad thing, I don't think. And B-Roll and I were talking about this too. I'm excited about this card. I mean, it's very interesting to see where AEW and New Japan was, a couple years ago versus now. And especially with New Japan, and I'll kind of start here with you, CDC, because we are in a rebuilding period in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So this particular show, I think, is AEW heavy, but there's a reason for that because we're still establishing and building new stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and unfortunately in the same situation because, they've got the whole Kings Road thing and they make everyone pay their dues way past what you would see on like any American wrestling promotion. Like a lot of people who already probably should be further up at this point and having more features at this time aren't there yet, but it's like you can see, where they're going with it. It's just at the same point with like the mass exodus that they've had of so much talent. Like it feels like they really need to just put the pedal to the metal and start pushing these people and just forego that whole scenario because you're getting a lot of other New Japan stars that, are featured here that are getting a little bit long in the tooth. And while they still are amazing, they ain't up to the same stuff they were, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah. And hell, look at it. Look, we got Okada, Ospreay. These guys were New Japan guys forever, and now they're AEW guys too. So it's Switchblade too, Jay White, another one. So, let me ask you this before we get too deep into this. And it's interesting because B-Roll and I had this discussion a couple weeks ago talking about the relationship between WWE and TNA wrestling, kind of as it being a lopsided kind of you scratch my back, I scratch your. Do you think, AEW is has they really given back as much as what New Japan's given to AEW, would you say? Would you say it's even? Would you say it's an uneven balance? It's I look at it as it's like, I think it started off more even, but now it seems, but I guess it's still hard too to think of Ospreay and like Okada and those guys as not as New Japan guys anymore. especially Okada. Because I mean, Okada was the face of the company for over 10 years, essentially.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's still too fresh. It's too new. It's one of those things like, because again, you got to think AEW's how old now? I mean, even they're not even been around that long. So you have people that have made their name in another company and really built themselves up and got to feature themselves by doing this crossover event to a lot of these people that may not have seen it before. So it's hard to still make that distinction, but in time it will happen. But it's just kind of like when John Moxley left WWE, it was still hard to not think, oh, that's Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But over time, I don't even think of Dean Ambrose anymore. On Moxley.
100% agree. Yeah, I don't even think of it's Moxley. He's always going to be Moxley to me. But one thing, and B-Roll and I kind of talked about this too. One thing I think that's pretty cool about this going into this show this year is it really truly does kind of feel like a Forbidden Door in a sense that it's not just AEW New Japan. We've got Stardom is heavily involved in this show. You've got CMLL, which is involved in this show as well. So I think having that variety, I think is really I'm excited for this show. I really am. I don't, is it going to be as good as previous Forbidden Doors? I don't know. I mean, it's hard saying because God, the first two were just incredible. I just don't think it's.
And I mean, last year you had Osprey Omega too. So I mean,
how do you top that? But I think you got a main event on this show that's damn well going to could top that, and we're going to get into it. But nonetheless, Forbidden Door is looking to be an exciting show. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about 0 Hour, which 0 Hour is looking pretty damn sharp here. Another thing I want to say here too, I'm really excited to see the female representation on Forbidden Door this year because it seemed like we would get maybe one women's match on the show, and you've got 4 matches overall, counting on 0 Hour on the show, which I think that's a step in the right direction. I'm happy to see, and I'm really happy to see Stardom being involved in this show as much as they are. But let's talk about it. We've got Willow Nightingale teaming up with Tam Nakanow, going up against Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe. Best Gal, I know you are pumped for this matchup.
Oh God! Finally, we get to see some Stardom representation here because it's like the first two had it was all just AEW women wrestling each other, right? If they had that, yeah. So now we're gonna get Stardom in there. I love Momo Watanabe. I love Odatai. So this is a good mishmash. It's not going to be. I remember people. I think it was Ring of Honor where it was all Stardom, and I was excited for it. But I heard people were kind of iffy about it because they're not familiar with the product. They just ignored it. So now we're going to be able to see them in here. We're going to not just see AEW fans have been seeing Mina for the past month or so. No, we need more Stardom people thrown in there. We need to see these amazing women finally represented in AEW with a Forbidden Door. Well, I'm all for it. I'm excited for Momo.
I am too, and I think it's cool this matchup too. You got 2 huge rivalries in different companies here that's going to be meeting here in this tag team matchup. Especially before Willow.
Oh, the hatred, yes.
Lock up, yes, the hatred. Lock up before their Owen Hart semifinal tournament matchup. And Tam and Momo, man, they've been going at it for a good while now too. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting matchup. It's these 0 Hour matches we're going to talk about here. I'm surprised they're on the 0 Hour, but I mean, you only have so much room on the pay-per-view, I guess. But this is going to be awesome, man. B-Roll, I'm going to start with you. Who you think's walking out the victor in this tag team matchup?
I am going to give it to. I'm feeling. Let's see. I'm going to go with. I think your girl. No. It's so hard because I'm totally basing this decision off of who I think is going to win on next Wednesday, honestly. So I think I'm going Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakanow.
Okay. CDC, who you got in this one?
I also got Willow and Tam, and mainly just because I think they possibly start working this as a way for Willow to start moving towards that title match again with Mercedes.
Okay. Best Gout. Who you got?
All right. 2 reasons I'm going with where I'm going to go with. First off, Willow Nightingale looks just like my first wife, so I have to bet against her. But I'm going with Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe because I believe Willow needs to lose this match so that she can redeem herself and go against Chris Statlander in their Owen Hart tournament match and win that one.
See, I think the exact opposite. I think that Chris is going to beat her in the one-on-one.
Why do you defy me?
Well, it's funny because Best Gout, you and I are on the same page. I think the exact same thing. I think Statlander and Momo win this. But I do have a disagreement on the Owen Hart tournament matchup because this is what I think is going to happen. I don't think either of them are going to win. I think it's going to be like a double DQ or something, or some schmoz or something that's going to lead to another match for them on down the road. I think.
Shmum me?
Yeah. So, and I think what you're going to have is the finals of the Owen Hart on the women's side is going to be that other semifinal matchup. But anyways, nonetheless, this should be an exciting matchup. I'm really looking forward to it. Also, we got a trios matchup involving everybody. Like pretty much, we've got New Japan, we've got AEW and CMLL all represented. As we got Los Ingobernables de Japón with Yodo Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi going up against Mystico and the Lucha Brothers. This is an interesting one. But so I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. I almost feel like the Mystico Lucha Brothers trios team's like almost a dream team of sorts.
Yeah.
You know?
We couldn't get this before because AAA wouldn't let them, or it was a New Japan. They couldn't work together at all, and Lucha Brothers were associated with them. So they've gotten like the okay to do it this year. They were never involved in Forbidden Door before this.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. It's crazy to think, man, but I really do think the CMLL presence on this card is really there. There's some key matchups on here, which we're going to talk about. But this is another one I'm blown away that it's like on the pre-show, but I get it because there's just so many damn matches. But man, I'm excited to see this. My heart wants to go with Los Ingobernables because my main man Naito, but I don't know if Japanese Roman Reigns is going to be able to get it done against Mystical and Lucha Brothers. I'm just saying. I love Yodo Tsuji, but I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards Mystico and Lucha Brothers. Who you got in this one, B-roll?
This is a tough one. This is a tough cookie to crack. I do think by the slightest of margins, I'm going with Mystico and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah. What about you, CDC?
I got LIJ on this one. Teton is a blast to watch. Hiromu, obviously, and I mean you can't ever count Cum Shot out. So
I just realized I did say his name wrong, didn't I? I don't know.
Gene Black.
Titan. He's always going to be Titan to me. Damn it! No. I just saw the
over
little
your lower back.
Titon, which is even funnier.
Got a Gene Blast all over your Titon. Okay, well, me and also many Jack Cartwheel believe that it'll be Los Ingobernables de Japón. I feel like it would be a close match, like I think like B-roll said, like by a margin. But I think a New Japan team needs to win this, especially Cum Shot. He needs a Gene Blast all over their Titans.
Yeah,
Hiromu.
I feel like I don't think there's going to be a ton of New Japan wins on this show, to be honest with you. Which we'll get.
Yeah, they need some.
They need some. So I could see. Yeah, that's funny. So far, our predictions were 50-50 on these, so that just shows you how tight this card is this year.
But that was my thought process. I was like, man, if I'm New Japan and I'm really wanting to build up Yoda Sushi, maybe I do have him pick up the pin in this one. But then I'm like, well, this is technically more so of a AEW pay-per-view. So
I don't know. Anything
Yeah.
can happen, man. So, well, we got one more match on 0 Hour, and this is a big one. It is in the Owen Hart tournament. Mariah May going up against Saraya. First off, is Mariah May gonna be able to go this Sunday? Because we saw that vicious accident, and it was an accident, by the way, from my girl Mina Shirkar. She surely did not mean to harm Mariah May. It's damn Tony. If it's anybody's fault, it's Tony Storm's fault, because that champagne bottle was meant for her. I'm sorry, timeless Tony Storm, but anyways, is Mariah May going to be able to go, though, B-Roll? Do you think she'll be ready in time for this big tournament matchup? Because this is a huge opportunity for her.
It is a huge matchup. I believe you and I both have thought, potential winner of the Owen Hart tournament.
Oh yeah, Mariah's my pick to win the whole thing. I still stand by that. So I think she'll win this matchup. But this is a very interesting first round matchup to me.
Yeah, I still stand by that too, because I think she's gonna win the tournament. So yeah, I think she does find some way to overcome in this matchup.
Yeah, and she's got a full plate. I mean, her heart has to be just like pulled apart with the AEW Women's Title match on this show as well, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I'm like you. I think Mariah May's winning the whole tournament. But this also kind of seems like if that happens, almost a passing of the torch, so to speak, between great European women's wrestler Saraya to Mariah May. So
sounds like a match that should have happened at All In.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that there. But CDC,
I'll be drink tea and carpets.
Yes, and have a can of cold beans. I drink and I eat it with the spoon.
Beans and toast.
Yes. Anyways, CDC, who do you got in this one?
Mariah May, for no other reason that she's probably got Ralphus in her corner there, so you can't go wrong with that, right?
Yes, a sexy version of Ralphus, may I say, in Luther. So yes. Best Gout, who you got?
Well, first off, let me just do this real quick because it's a super British thing going on here. Yes, God damn it, my monocle fell off. I believe Mariah Carey shall win this. I mean, Mariah May.
Yeah.
Mariah May win this. We'll go with Mariah May.
Indubitably. Well, we got a clean
sweep. Roll up.
Clean sweep. Yes. So I wouldn't be.
We all hate Saraya.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's another topic, but I will say this before we move on. I do think the Saraya, whatever you want to call this run in AEW, has been the drizzling shit. Like I don't know if that's
because wrestling again.
There you go. That's the thing. And that's me being like a spoiled wrestling fan. Because I'm just you're great to see her just physically be able to do it, but also looking at it from a perspective of like, man, she was just such a huge part of what WWE did with their women's division and raised the bar. And it's been underwhelming. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's on cruise control for last year.
Yeah, it really has. And if that's because she needs to stay safe and healthy, I'm all for it. But I don't know. It just
I think not to get off topic here, but I think there is a lot that has hurt some of her run, and I think it's not just her health, because I still wholeheartedly believe that they were heading towards a women's war game or blood and guts, but then just too many injuries happened. Like Jamie Hayter got hurt, Britt Baker got hurt, and they didn't have the numbers to pull it off. And
they would get more injuries if they had blood and guts.
Yeah.
that's true.
Because really, I mean, you can look at the Outcast group as it failed in a lot of ways.
I think so. I think it's safe to say. And also part of it too, and I mean, God bless her, but like Tony Storm, like just transcended both of like Ruby and Soraya. Just with like, I mean, Timeless Tony Storm is one of the best like characters in all of wrestling going right now, bar none. Women, men, whatever you want to call them. So, well, let's talk about the main card of Forbidden Door, which is a loaded card, and this is an interesting matchup. And I know CDC's chomping at the bit to talk about this one. We got Orange Cassidy going up against your boy, Zack Sabre Jr. CDC, I want to get your thoughts on this matchup. Are you excited for it?
I am very excited for it. I will go ahead and say, I think this is going to end up being the match tonight. When I look at that entire card, there's lots of great stuff on it, but you have ZSJ and Orange Cassidy, and I think just back to, I think it was a previous Forbidden Door when we had Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that match, and that was fantastic. And all I can think is Orange Cassidy clearly just, showed that he can go toe-to-toe with the strong style guys from New Japan, and the technical wizard ZSJ. I think, this is just going to be fantastic. Not only that, I do think ZSJ takes this one. I'm just going to go get my prediction now. And I think we see him start finally making that trek towards the IWGP World Heavyweight title.
I think that's a valid point, because honestly, I think, I mean, this is a different prediction show, different thing, but I think Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the front runners to win the G1 this year, in my opinion. I think he's up there.
Or Jake Lee.
I knew you were going to get a Jake Lee reference in.
Right, I had to get in there, baby. I'm wearing a Noah hat right now. I don't give a fuck.
Good looking guys.
Oh yeah, GLG, baby.
All the hits.
Fucking everyone's mom.
I do agree with you though, CDC. I think this is one of the matches that could steal the show. I think there's several matches on this card that could steal the show, which is what makes this card so great. But this one I think could be a sleeper. I'm really happy this is a one-on-one too, and we're not getting like a bullshit multi-man match fill in here just to get people on the card, which is another thing I kind of like about this year too. There's not a ton of those on it, which I'm all for. But I think at the end of the day, I think I think CSJ needs this win more than Orange Cassidy does, honestly. And I mean, that has no disrespect to Orange Cassidy, but I think with where Zack Sabre Jr. can go in New Japan, I just think, he needs this win. So I'm picking him to win. What about you, Best Gout?
This one, I think I agree. I didn't even have a prediction on this one to start with. But I think Zack Sabre Jr. should win this. But with Zack Sabre Jr. being one of the best wrestlers in New Japan, if not the world right now, I think Orange Cassidy is one of the best wrestlers in AEW, if not the world as well. And I just want to say right now on video that in his career, he needs to be the AEW champion at least once. Sometime in the next 5 years, he needs to be the world champion because he is phenomenal. And I just feel like he does it. Like he's stepping into the ring with his equal this Sunday.
Yeah.
So I love this man, and I'm seeing two equal-sized giants go against each other. Where the hell is Brent?
I know he just disappeared on us, so I think he got like a little shy. But it's interesting too because you mentioned about Orange Cassidy, and everybody always talking about like the pillars in AEW, right? And like, I mean, to me, I think in my opinion, I think he's easily surpassed.
Yes,
Sammy Guevara, and I would even go as far as to say Jack Perry too.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see what happens with Jack.
Why
Perry.
don't we see him as a pillar?
He should. He is a pillar as far as
he's not one. He's a fucking dick of AEW. He's AEW's dick.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, it's going to be an exciting matchup. We'll try to get B-roll back with us here in a little bit. Oh, there he is. Oh, you got your doggy. He disappeared, just like that. Who does Reese?
Sorry,
and
the dog is causing chaos.
Who does Reese think's gonna win this matchup?
Who do you think's gonna win, Reese? Zack Sabre Jr. or Orange Cassidy?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, she says big fan of Orange Cassidy, but she does think Zack Sabre Jr. is going to pick up the win here.
Reese, you're wise beyond your years.
And Dad agrees.
Yes. Yep. Well, it got another clean sweep here. All right, let's move on to our next matchup. Now, this one I am really looking forward to, honestly. When they first announced it, I was like, that's not what I expected for MJF's matchup at Forbidden Door.
Right.
But I'm pretty happy with this. So we got MJF going up against CMLL's. I'm sorry, I'm probably going to butcher this. Hichirko, did I say that right?
Hechicero.
Thank you, Hechicero. Yes.
I live in a Mexican household. I have to do that.
You can. But you know what? From the stuff I've seen from him, like watching him in AEW, he's fun to watch, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't gonna be like a cakewalk for Maxwell Jacob Friedman, but it is in his hometown. So I mean, this is gonna be a very pro MJF crowd. I will say this: I honestly think this will be the opening contest of the show. I think this is what's gonna be the first match to kick it off. Get a hot crowd, especially for MJF. MJF's not losing in Long Island. I mean, come on. Like it's going to be a great matchup, but MJF's winning this. There's no way he's losing this, I don't think. What do you guys say? B-roll?
Yeah, I think definitely MJF. I feel like this is one of the matches like, hey, it's great to get a CMLL guy on the card, but yeah, I think MJF's definitely winning this one.
Yeah. CDC?
MJF, moving on.
Yeah. Best scout.
It's too obvious to the point where, you know what? No, fuck it. Hechicero. I'm not even being funny. I want to see a big shock, like maybe someone comes in with some outside interference, you know?
You think Rudy could?
Gates Agony can pop up and help out. I just feel like it's too obvious. But then again,
what if Adam Cole comes back?
Right, Adam Cole could come back and cost him the match. I feel like for him to win would be too obvious, and I don't like too obvious.
Fair enough.
Hechicero.
But nonetheless, should be an interesting matchup on this loaded card. Oh man, I'm salivating thinking about this one, baby. We've got the Owen Hart tournament first round matchup with Bryan Danielson going 1-on-1 against Shingo Takagi. This is another one of those matchups I think could easily steal the show. This is going to be their chests are going to beat red by the end of it. These two guys are going to beat the holy hell out of each other. And man, I don't know if you guys did anybody see the online promo from Bryan Danielson after Wednesday night's Dynamite?
No.
Oh my God, it's very intense. It's a good promo, man. And
I'll be horny for it.
Oh, you'll be very horny for it. I'm very excited to see this matchup. I love me some Shingo too, man. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think these two have ever met before, have they?
I don't think so. No way. Nope. First time.
Because we got a battle of the dragons on hand here. So this is gonna be a badass matchup. But since it is in the Owen Hart tournament, and I do feel like Danielson, I don't know if he's gonna win it, but I do feel like he's gonna at least get to the finals. I'm going with Bryan Danielson on this one. But it's gonna be an awesome matchup. B-roll, who do you got?
Yes. So my options are the American Dragon or the Red Dragon. That's that right?
I call him Daddy.
We all had to think they're like, I know, yeah. Well, you could just say Dragon is going to win it, and then you're kind of like, you're not wrong.
Oh, okay. No, here's what I'm thinking, honestly. Like you said, I think both chests are going to beat red real winner on this one is the fans, but I'm gonna go Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. CDC.
Yeah, I think Bryan Danielson on this one, only just because I think on a booking standpoint, Shingo's not going to stick around for further matches for the Owen Hart tournament,
Yeah.
which that's the only reason.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they include the New Japan guys and like one of the New Japan talents in the Owen Hart tournament these past couple of years, but I also feel like it's a foregone conclusion they're going to lose the match. I mean, because it's like you say, it's not like they're going to be sticking around. Because hell, the biggest tournament in all of like wrestling is about to happen in the G1. That's the other thing I think people forget about too. So, yeah, totally agree. Best Gout.
Once again, I hate obvious, but it's gonna be very obvious that I think it's gonna be Bryan Danielson. But I don't like obvious, but yeah, he's gonna win. But you know what? It's gonna be a fucking killer match. We're gonna jizz our pants silly and America.
Fuck yeah.
Personally, I would love Jake Lee to be here, but I know.
Well,
Reasons.
he could
Reasons.
possibly make an appearance. You never know. This one just got added, and I am telling you, I am all for it. And Best Gout said this in our group chat. Tony Khan, we need the Scissor Ace shirt, and I need it ASAP. As Hiroshi Tanahashi's teaming up with the Acclaim to take on the Elite. And hey, here we go. We're going to renew one of the greatest rivalries in all of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tanahashi and Okada, as they meet, which is kind of interesting to me because it's like, here we go. Like, we've seen this so many times in New Japan, but it's got a new spin on it with Okada pretty much being a TNA, Jesus. It's Okada being an AEW guy. I'm kind of intrigued by this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like steal the show or anything like that. But I think this is gonna be a fun trios match nonetheless. B-roll. Who do you think's gonna win this trios matchup?
I don't know. I mean, speaking of stealing the show, Ricky's trying to steal the show.
Well,
but this is.
Slimer.
I think there's going to be a lot of. I think there's going to be a lot of scissoring.
Oh yeah. Since we're grabbing objects nearby, and you said scissors, I actually have a pair of scissors.
Ooh.
Oh.
I've got the Elite in this one. I feel like.
I'm with you. I think the Elite will win this one as well. Got to have that momentum going into Blood and Guts, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, CDC?
I predict that Tanahashi will have an amazing perm and that the Elite walk away with it in the end because it's one president against 2 or 3 executive producers.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to see Okada and like Tanahashi stare off in the ring or something, and Okada just calls him a bitch. So,
Bitch.
And I also want to see Tanahashi scissor the fuck out of the Acclaim. You can, only in wrestling can we say that and be like, okay, that makes sense.
Right, makes all sense in the world.
Best Gout, who do you got in this one?
I got giant freaking scissors. Look at that.
Wow, those
That's
are
unnatural.
What the hell are those? Look like they're.
This belongs to my wife. It is.
That's scary.
It is. I can scissor you in no ways you've never been scissored. But I'm gonna go with the Elite on this one because I feel like they need to keep the bitch train going. They need to keep their momentum. But I will say though, Hiroshi Tanahashi will have the best hair of everyone there, but except for besides Billy Gunn.
Oh,
he has the best pubes.
Really?
I've heard.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're probably Goldilocks. So
yeah.
But nonetheless, like I can say, I think this is going to be. I'm still excited for this matchup. Just with it's got a new spin on it with the Tanahashi.
Orgasm. The second he said he was a scissor ace.
Yeah, that's what gave me a full-on chubby. I'm not gonna lie.
Daddy Khan, give me a shirt now.
I love it. Well, we've also got this matchup too. We've got the TNT Championship is up for grabs in this ladder match, which we know we got Leo Rush, Jack Perry, Takeshka, Mark Briscoe, and Dante Martin. But we do have a mystery man who we don't know, at least at the time of this recording, who that is. Bescal, could your boy possibly get in? Do you think they would have the balls to have Jake Lee show up?
Lee in there? God,
Actually,
can you imagine?
I want to ask you this, and I asked you this as a good, close personal friend, because we're good, close personal friends.
Oh, yeah.
You would have a massive erection if that happened, right?
I would be screaming my damn head off because New Japan, Noah have had like the on and off thing going on for like the last year or two or something like that. They've had Kaito Kiyomiya wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom, which, by the way, was completely ruined by House of Torture. And because I was so like excited, nipples hard, ready for that Noah representation, and it was a shit match. So now, fast forward, we got this going on. If we get someone somehow from Noah in there, I will scream either Kaito Kiyomiya or Jake Lee. Those two would have me jizz in my pants. Even if Katsuhiko Nakajima came back from, even though he was in All Japan and now he disappeared from the world. If you don't know who that is, search him now.
What about Keno?
Keno, goddamn! Here's the thing. That is such a stretch. I don't know. That would be amazing if he showed up. I know no one in that crowd would know who he is. If he showed up, I would rewind everything and record myself screaming my head off and taking my clothes off because Keno is a god. If he went to New Japan, he would just be a god over there. If any of those guys I just mentioned went to New Japan, they would take over. Got really excited there.
If you haven't figured it out by now, Best Scout's favorite Japanese promotion is Pro Wrestling Noah. In case you didn't know.
That's a bootleg hat from AliExpress. I can't get any real shirts off their website.
In case you didn't know, he loves Pro Wrestling Noah.
So guys, who do you think this mystery person is going to be? I think it's definitely not somebody that's in AEW. I think that's safe to say, right? Because we got to have some representation from a different company in this matchup, right?
Ooh.
It's probably somebody from House of Torture.
See, Evil. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Shooter. I think Shoto Umino is going to be this matchup.
I will be down for that.
That would make sense.
I think Shota is an obvious choice. I don't think anyone from House of Torture, mainly because they wouldn't want to interrupt Jack Perry since he's aligned with them. So I don't, unless they
help him
just to help him specifically.
Oh,
maybe ready to come in for that reason, possibly.
Oh,
but
my God.
My actual thinking is this actually no. This ends up being just a straight up AEW match, and maybe Hangman reappears.
Hey.
Well, I have a theory on Hangman. I think he's going to be the mystery guy against Jeff Jarrett on.
I think so too. Yeah.
So, I could see. Yeah. Here's what you bring up a good point with House of Torture. I could see them if they're going to be involved in this in any capacity. I could see it be this. It could have Shota because Shoto's still pretty much feuding with House of Torture right now. Any CDC? I mean, because there's always going to be that rivalry with Ren Narita.
Yeah, I mean, it's House of Torture. They rival with everyone, even Bullet Club. So.
Well, here's my thought process: is it gets down to it, and like all of House of Torture just shows up and just beats the fuck out of everybody, so Jack Perry can win this matchup. Because to me, this is the biggest no-brainer of the night. I think Jack Perry's winning this damn thing. I can't see him not winning it. I mean, it could go a different route. I mean,
I'm thinking Takeshita.
That's my guess.
Here's my theory on that. I thought about that CDC, but I don't think it'd be Takeshita because he's going to be competing in the G1. If Takeshita wasn't in the G1, I would say that.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
But I mean, that it would be between those two guys, I think, because Mark Briscoe's already got the ROH title. I'm really surprised Leo Rush is in this. I mean, no disrespect to him, but they haven't. He's just kind of like recently been doing some stuff with AEW, and
Popped up
Dante's
again.
the tag
Hey.
Matt guy. Although I know
He
B-roll
can
would
do
mark
flippy
out.
stuff.
I know that's literally why he's in it. But what B-roll? Okay, so I asked like about best Gout stream coming true. What would you do if Dante Martin won this matchup? Because Dante's your boy.
If Dante Martin won this matchup, which that is not my prediction,
But
I
if
do
he
think
did,
he will be a TNT champion at some point, but not right now. I think I would climb onto the roof of my house, and I would try to do something inhuman like Dante Martin, and I think I'd probably get severely hurt.
and you'd be naked.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought that was a given.
It was implied. It was like obvious.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're trying to recreate the last time Dante Martin was on a ladder.
I was there.
Oh yeah, you were at that ROH
I was there.
show. Yeah.
Funny little tidbit, because like I was there. I remember him. You did not notice that he injured himself, but when he was being stretchered out, and he was doing this like, and I'm sitting there like, man, he's really selling whatever injury they're saying he has. And then I went on my phone in between matches. I'm like, oh my god! And then people heard me yell, and I'm like, dude, he hurt his leg. And then we all went on our phone. And it was like a lot domino effect of people going on the phone going, oh my god, oh my god.
This is actually terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But like I say, I think at the end of the day, this is Jack Perry's to win.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Jack Perry.
CDC.
I've been convinced it's either Jack Perry or whoever the mystery person is.
Jake Lee.
That would be amazing if the mystery person, it's not going to happen, but man, it would be crazy if the mystery person, like we say, is somebody from a different company and they win this thing. That'd be pretty dope.
Oh, give me that.
Yep. Or wait a minute. What if it's dare I say, a new AEW signee?
Wait. I know what you're saying.
Could we get a free agent? Could we get
Dijak?
What if Dijak showed? I mean, I think he could technically work, right?
Or Ricochet.
Oh God! If Ricochet shows up in this, the crowd's gonna lose their shit.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, the crowd would literally lose their shit if Ricochet's in this matchup. Which that would be pretty dope. So it's gonna be an exciting ladder match, nonetheless. This one right here. Now, this one is another one I think could easily steal the show. One of the big matchups on this card. It is our only title for title matchup, as TBS champion Mercedes Moné will defend her title against New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Fakur. Which there's there's some interesting elements in this matchup. Of course, we all know Mercedes Moné had that injury in that New Japan Strong Women's tournament. But I will say this, I think this matchup is going to be much more challenging for Mercedes Moné than from the first time they met. Because I truly believe Stephanie Fakur over the past year or so has just gotten so much more better. Not that she was even bad to begin with, but I mean, she is so well polished. I got the privilege of getting to see her compete in person in Philly at the Stardom show, man. She is a bad mother trucker, man, to say the least. Like this, I love the Willow Mercedes matchup we got at Double or Nothing, but like this to me, this matchup is the most excited I've been for a Mercedes Moné matchup probably in years, honestly. I am stupid excited about this matchup. What are your guys' thoughts on this one?
So I actually liked this match at the forget what show it was, where they competed for the New Japan
tournament
title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I actually thought this match was the better one. Like I was very impressed. I mean, that was the first time seeing her. But yeah, Best Scout. I feel like this one's obvious.
Oh, obviously, it's going to go to my personal best friend who sent me this, Mercedes Monet. She signed it. It doesn't say my name on it, but obviously we're best friends. We've seen pictures of me and her together.
Yes,
we go to Starbucks occasionally.
I also heard she loves Arby's too.
She loves herself some roast beef and horsey sauce.
Yeah, she's a big beef and cheddar fan.
Beef and cheddar girl. She swims in the horsey sauce, man.
I can understand that.
We also do our nails.
Yes. I think what me and Best Scout are saying is it's going to be all about the money.
I would love it
if
Stephanie Fakur won this, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
I think this is another one like Mercedes. This to me is almost like the next bet. Like we talked about, like obvious winners. Danielson's won. Jack Perry winning the ladder match, and this one right here. Yeah, Mercedes is winning this. I can't see her losing. What about you, CDC?
Yeah, I'm on board with this as well. I think it's just one of those things like get her the title she was supposed to get right on the onset and start doing something with it down the road. Get her to actually do some more New Japan stuff that she didn't get a chance to really do.
Yeah.
Injury and everything else. So I totally see that being the likelihood.
Yeah, because I mean they created this title practically for her, essentially.
Yeah.
You think about it in hindsight. So yeah, I think we all agree the CEO is walking out of Long Island with 2 championship belts around her waist. So here we go. The IWGP World Heavyweight Championship is on the line, as champion Jon Moxley will defend against the man he took it from, Tetsu Naito. Man, oh man. I'm excited for this, but mainly because like I don't have a beef with Mox. I'm not like a huge fan of Mox, but Naito's my guy, and damn it, I'm calling it now. He is winning back that IWGP championship. It has to happen. He needs to be champion again. Like I always feel like with Naito, his title runs have been so short. Like, and I just want him to have a long title run. I mean, at this point, I don't know if it really matters because of his greatness, honestly. I mean, he's still going to go down as like one of the greats of all time in New Japan, in my opinion. Or, I don't know. I just can't see them going back and forth with Moxley, like coming over to Japan and stuff. And also, too, we're in G1 season, and like typically the G1 climax always features the IWGP champion in it for whatever reason. So I don't know. I feel like Naito's winning the belt back. Maybe that's just because of my fandom, because I love Naito. But this is one of those matchups. Really, I could see it going either way. I'm not going to be shocked if Moxley wins. I just personally, I hope it doesn't happen. CDC, I can see you are clamoring at the bit to talk about this one.
You could save me for last.
Okay. What about you?
Oh boy, this is gonna be
what
good.
What about you, Best Scout?
You know what? I think it's going to be Naito. Which is funny because when you think about it, Jon Moxley doesn't win. He doesn't lose a lot in AEW. But I feel like Naito is up there as a wrestler that can beat him and should beat him. Now, like I said, he should beat him. You know, he goes back to Japan with the championship. You know, he won the championship. We can sell that for Forbidden Door, so he can win that. You know, a New Japan guy can win a match. Because I feel like in our heads we're constantly going AEW.
Also too, I think for the us diehards who know and love Naito, like I think this would show like your AEW, your regular AEW is like, holy shit, this New Japan guy, this just beat Jon Moxley. He beat Jon Moxley clean.
Guy?
Yeah, they would be like, damn, okay, I'm gonna start watching Naito, man.
Right?
What about you, B-Roll? Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the word of the day is obvious a little bit, but I feel like since the G1 announcement that this one has been a little more obvious. Now, we never know, anything can happen in wrestling, but I do think the title goes back to Naito.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, you scratch my back, I scratch here with AEWs and New Japan. So it just, okay, Mox had a little bit of a run. Yeah, had a couple title defenses and stuff, but all right. Now it's time for the title to come home. So, all right, CDC. We saved the best for last, perhaps. What you got for us?
Neither one of them win it.
What? Okay.
I think we get both of them out there and the match gets thrown out because New Japan's hottest, most awesome, and best faction, led by the best and true president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, comes out and ruins it for everybody. Evil.
Why is it I knew you were going to go with something House of Torture?
But I think with that all said and done, Mox and Naito are so pissed about the entire thing, they agree to make it a three-way, and Evil walks away with the title. Yeah, that's right. I won't pick either one of them. So I'm going to go with left field. No one sees it coming. Third option.
Option C. Okay. Interesting. That's
yes,
it would be very compelling.
That can happen for this. I know.
As a Naito fan, I gotta be honest, I personally hope that doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be shocked if it did. I mean, it furthers along that great story you have too, with like, you know, a former LIJ member in Evil and that rivalry with Evil and Naito and stuff. So yeah.
That whole thing made my balls hurt.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, let me ask you this. Okay, you said Evil. I think we're all in agreement, though. At the end of the day, at this matchup, come hell or high water, whoever it is, we're gonna get a new IWGP champion, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thing's probably not going to happen, so Naito, but still, I'd really like that to be the scenario.
Slimer wins IWGP Championship.
Or Reese.
But I just want to go ahead and go on record.
Prime Bottle.
If that happens, I want to be forever known as Resto Nostradamus.
You should, because that is very, very some fantasy booking there. But if it happened, man, I will sing your praises to the rooftops, my friend. So, Best Scout, is that hand lotion?
Yeah, I have eczema.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Well, I heard Lutron foot spray is good for that.
Oh, and the irony, you're getting hand lotion out because you can get it ready. And I don't mean this in a sexually disrespectful way. I mean this as like, this is my most excited matchup on this whole card. And I'm pumped for the main event, but from a storytelling perspective, I think this is the best booked matchup on this card by far of anything. We've got your AEW Women's World Title is on the line as Timeless Toni Storm will be defending against my girl, one Mina Shirakawa. The story here, it writes itself really, but kudos to AEW and Stardom for really kind of like setting this up for months. Because you can even go back to the Stardom show in Philadelphia, which I was there, just saying, because that's the first time really where Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa really met. Yes, Toni Storm was in Stardom, but it wasn't Timeless Toni Storm. So
different version,
completely different version. And I got to tell you, like being there, I popped because we were not expecting Toni Storm to come out, but it was a fucking awesome moment.
And she said the forbidden door's always open.
And there we go. But I mean, it literally writes itself.
She said the thing.
She did. She did. But like
I put away the lotion and tissue now?
You can, yes. Because you're gonna want to make sure you save some for that main event too. But this matchup, though, like I say, the story going into it's incredible. It writes itself. The background, I mean, the glue that's holding this all together is Mariah May, because as we know, Mariah May, a huge part of Mina Shirakawa's like career in Stardom, as they were a faction known as Club Venus, former Stardom Tag Team Champions too, by the way. And then, of course, we know what we've seen over the past almost a year now, I guess, at this point, or close to it, with Mariah May being Toni Storm's quote unquote understudy. So it's like, does she go with like her her sister from the past, or does she go with like her current like love and Toni Storm? And then also too, like the stuff, Mina is so damn good. Like, it is no doubt in my mind, whenever her contract's up with Stardom, whether it's AEW, WWE, some North American company is gonna like get her. Because to me, I will say this, I feel like Mina Shirakawa is the equivalent of Joshi wrestlers that Shinsuke Nakamura was, in a sense that like instantly can connect with an American audience. Like her character's there, her promos are great, like, and just like the stuff, this kind of this back and forth between Mariah May and with Mina and Toni, and like each of these like dominant ladies kind of pulling her to the side, like, no, you're with me, no, you're with me. And some unfortunate events there on Dynamite this past week too. Like I say, it was all Toni Storm's fault because she was supposed to take the champagne bottle, damn it. But seriously, guys, let me ask you something. From a storyline perspective, do you think this is the best built matchup on this card?
Most definitely.
It's better. It's a better built match than it's a better build than Will versus Swerve, and that's a very well built feud, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. CDC, what are your thoughts on this one?
I have no thoughts on this one.
Oh, okay. Just doesn't do anything for you, or?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Fair enough.
He's our New Japan expert.
Yeah, not.
He doesn't watch Stardom.
We need light skin in here.
I wish we had light skin.
Shout out to light skin, buddy.
God bless you.
Feeling better. We love you, man.
We love you.
But yeah, I like I say, this is my, from a story perspective, like I am so pumped for this one. I would love it if Mina walks out with it, but it's this is another one I think there's no chance in hell it's going to happen. Like Toni Storm's on the run of a lifetime, and I truly think, we talked about it earlier, Mariah May's winning that tournament, and you're going to get a hell of a student versus a teacher matchup at All In with Mariah May going up against Toni Storm. So I think Toni Storm retains. But I will say this, I think this is going to be, what happens here is going to be a massive part of the storytelling between Mariah May and Toni Storm. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. B-roll, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna agree with you wholeheartedly. We're getting a story within a story almost, right?
Yeah.
And we're using the one story to help us tell the other story. So yeah, definitely I've got Toni Storm retaining here, but should be a great entertaining matchup for sure.
Yeah. CDC, who you got?
I'm never going to root against someone with Ralphus in their corner, so Toni Storm.
Fair enough. All right, best scout, who you got in this one?
Mina Shirakawa.
Ah, I love it.
I feel like you're going to get blindsided because I feel like we need to have a someone from another company win one of the titles. I just feel like since I said we like I'm an AEW. AEW has had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. I feel like there should be a trade-off. And I feel like I want Mina to win the championship. Probably not going to happen, but damn it, I want it to happen. Brought to you by Lotriman's Foot Spray.
Oh, yes. If Lutrin Foot Spray is sponsored Mina, then Toni Storm, I'm sorry, Ralphus or not, you're screwed. So, but man,
like appropriate for that joke.
Buy 3 to get 3 free.
That's right. Once again, there's several matchups we've mentioned, and this is one I think that can definitely steal the show as well. Is this AEW Women's World Championship? But let's talk about it. It's our last match. It is our main event at Forbidden Door. The AEW title is on the line, with Swerve Strickland defending against Will Ospreay. And you could easily say these by far are the two hottest wrestlers in AEW. This is like your two biggest draws. And a lot of people, I think, kind of surprised that we're already getting this matchup.
Right?
Thought there was kind of going to be more of a build. I think a lot of us also thought we are going to get this at Wembley too. This is the toughest matchup for me to pick on this card. Like this, and that's what's great about this main event is like I could easily see either of these two guys walking out with the AEW title. This is a tough one to call though, like because I mean, B-Roll and I were talking about this earlier today. It's like Will is definitely like the top draw almost, but like I don't want to see Swerve already drop his belt. I mean, I feel like we're just getting started with Swerve, but I can't see Ospreay taking a loss either. I don't know. Like, you guys got any thoughts on like how this is going to go down?
All right, I have an idea. I got the whole scenario down. Okay. Ospreay, Strickland beat the shit out of each other. They get so impassioned. You saw how Swerve at the end of their tag match, he like kicked him, last call of the head. He's mad. It is now personal. And these two are going to go ape shit on each other in the ring. The match is going to get called out. Evil comes out from House of Torture and they insert him and make it into a triple threat. Evil wins both the AEW World Championship and the International Championship. Everyone goes home not so happy. Brought to you by Lookman's Foot Spray.
God damn it, Mescal.
I was like, I swear he's going there. I could just feel it.
I knew.
Several times it said, and then Evil comes out.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's just have House of Torture interfere in every match on this show.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's just have the whole goddamn show.
I'm telling you, House of Torture equals ratings.
Dear God, help us if any of that happened.
Matter of fact, even better, they get involved in one of the women's matches, and whoever they don't beat up, they're the new recruit for the women of House of Torture.
Oh my gosh!
We need some ladies in House of Torture doing shit.
I'm starting to think House of Torture is going to invade this prediction show.
They may. Evil's like probably watching right around the corner. Oh dear God!
Oh God, turn Narita. He's beating me up. Ow. You can't see him. He's off screen.
Here's the thing with this one. Like, if you go by traditional wrestling lore, usually at the go home show, before, which I guess technically we haven't really done the go home show yet because that still would be Collision.
That would be Collision.
By the way, they are advertising a weigh in between these two, but Swerve Strickland did kind of get in that last word as he got the kick in there on Dynamite to close the show. But I would say I think Ospreay gets his heat back and does something on Collision. I am so tore on this one, man. I really don't know who to go with. I just, like I said, I'm not ready for Swerve to lose it. Let me ask you guys this. Who does it hurt the most if they lose this matchup? Does it hurt Swerve more than Ospreay, or does it hurt Ospreay more than Swerve if they lost? Or is that equal too?
Definitely.
I feel like it hurts Swerve slightly more because he's the champ.
I feel like it would be too soon for Swerve to lose the championship.
Yeah.
I'd say it would hurt more for Swerve also because you got beat by also what you would consider an under championship.
Yeah.
Well, I have a working theory on how I think this is all gonna go down. At the end of the day, I just feel like I can't see Swerve dropping it this soon. And I think they've got a champion there in Swerve Strickland who, no, I am not going with no House of Torture bullshit.
Damn it!
No, I'm being serious. No House of Torture bullshit.
Raise your banner.
No, I'm not bending the knee here. No, not happening. I do think there could be some shenanigans, so let me explain. I think what's going to happen is I think the referee's going to get knocked out or something at some point. And Ospreay is going to think about hitting the Tiger Driver, right? And let's say remember Swerve says, hey, I do want to make this personal, right? Let's say Ospreay does hit the Tiger Driver and has him beat dead to rights. But I think this past Wednesday night, we teased a little something. I could see the hometown hero, MJF, coming out and costing Will Ospreay this matchup because he's, it's MJF and he's going to be petty. Why not? Because he's pissed off because Ospreay come out and stole his thunder on Dynamite. No, House of Torture is still not coming out, goddammit. I'm sorry, I'm not bending the knee.
I'm kidding.
They are not even coming to the show as far as I'm concerned. They're not allowed in CDC. I'm sorry. I can't risk it. But no, I think this is what this is. There's a couple of things that happened on Dynamite that made me think this. Why it's going to be Strickland. Because I do think you're going to get MJF. Like I say, there's going to be a rivalry there with Ospreay. Ultimately, I think they meet it all in. The other thing I think that's happening here too, the Elite announced that they would be bringing in somebody for the Owen tournament. I think it's plain as day. It's just Hangman Page. And I think Hangman's going to win the whole tournament. And I think Hangman and Swerve are going to meet at AEW's biggest show of the year. I think they're going to meet it all in Wembley and continue that rivalry. That's what I think they're going to do. So in my opinion, I think at the end of the day, I think Swerve Strickland is going to retain the AEW championship. What about you, B-Roll?
Yeah, we talked about this earlier today, right? We said we thought the ultimate goal is to get to MJF Ospreay some way, somehow, right?
Right.
Honestly, that was one of the reasons I wanted Ospreay to sign with AEW so bad, because I think that is a matchup, a rivalry that this company, if done right, it builds the future of this company. Like, that is going to be, I think, the rivalry everyone looks at.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the first of many matches between them. So yeah.
Yeah. So you were asking the question, who does it hurt more to lose? I honestly don't think it hurts Ospreay that much to lose, since he's not the world champion at this time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense for Swerve to lose the title just yet. Now, if we were in Wembley, I'm singing a different tune, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not. And I hate betting against Will Ospreay. Ospreay is my boy. He is my favorite. But for the sake
when you drive,
for the sake of storytelling, I'm gonna swerve here. I think Swerve Strickland picks up the win.
Fair enough. CDC, I know you got that big Willie Ospreay shirt. The Gout.
Yeah, I think Will Ospreay takes this. So just like future casting out the different lines of play here, I think Will Ospreay wins. It makes no sense for them to have a double champ, but they don't want to get rid of that championship, so they're not going to merge it. So he vacates that title. AEW loves their tournaments for titles, so they do that whole thing. And then Will Ospreay, does his thing. Maybe Swerve somehow ends up in that championship run for the international championship. But I think down the road here, we have Will Ospreay, the AEW champ, have a couple like little matches here and there that, they're good matches, but, they're obviously he's going to win them kind of situations. And we start steering the road towards Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega for the AEW championship down in the future while he's still champion.
I like that.
But it won't matter anyways, because what will actually happen is House of Torture is going to get involved. Evil's going to come out, and it's going to be glorious.
God damn it.
Actually, better yet, XLJ, your prediction happens, and MJF is the American faction leader for House of Torture. America.
Oh, Christ on a cracker.
It won't be hot. It will be
honestly, that wouldn't shock me. That see, you made B-roll go away and disappear. Like,
oh, where's my baby?
Oh my!
He puts his Loachman foot spray on backwards.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. If this is a big if, CDC, if House of Torture somehow was involved in this, that's the only way I could see them being involved. If MJF, because I mean he is a scumbag, and I mean the scumbags of New Japan Pro Wrestling by far are House of Torture. So, Best Scout, I know we were kind of. So, do you really think, honestly, that could happen, House of Torture, or who do you really think is going to win this?
Not a snowball chance in hell. What are you, high? No, I believe that, in all honesty, Swerve will win. No shenanigans involved whatsoever. It will be a clean win because Will can lose to the world. I feel like he could lose to Swerve, and there's nothing. It's not going to devalue him at all to lose to the world champion. Swerve is one of the best. So Swerve is the best in the company, and Will is one of the best. So it just makes sense.
Honestly, out of all of us, I think what you just said makes the most sense. Because I mean, I think even with the way I booked it, it's still in a way, I don't want to say hurts Swerve, but it's like it doesn't help him per se. Because it's just going to be like that big what if. But also, I think that's going to be part of what's like the tease between, like you're saying, B-roll. This is going to be AEW's top rivalry, I think, is Swerve and Ospreay. So
like if Swerve were to lose, if say for hypothetically, if Will won, I feel like that would it would like I feel like Swerve should not lose the championship right now. I feel like it would be too soon for that historic win. If Will were to beat him, though, it wouldn't be as bad as, say, Brock Lesnar beating Kofi Kingston in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Nothing could be that.
Did you get my drift?
Yes. I feel what you're putting down.
Saying it, but not saying it.
Saying it, but not saying it. Yeah. Do you guys mind if I do some future fantasy booking here for Swerve? Because I kind of got a whole scenario laid out for Swerve for like the next... really, the next several months. So
you better not bring up House of Torture.
I am not bringing up House of Torture. I can tell you that right now. We have met our House of Torture quota for this prediction show, and they're not even booked on any of the fucking matches.
Exactly. This part sucks.
So no. Here's my prediction for Swerve. I think Swerve gets out of this, retains the AEW championship. I think we go to Wembley, and one of the marquee matchups is Hangman and Swerve when we pick up that rivalry. I think that continues on, and then I think we get all the way to Wrestle Dream, where Swerve Strickland wrestles Bryan Danielson in Bryan Danielson's last matchup. And I think Bryan Danielson retires by going out on his back like the traditional way a wrestler does, and ultimately putting over Swerve Strickland. And I think... like, if you do it that way, that cements Swerve Strickland as one of the greatest AEW champions of all time, in my opinion. I think that's how they should do it. Now, if I'm going even further here, looking ahead to Wembley, I have a prediction on several matchups I think you're going to see at Wembley, and a lot of it's going to be stemming out from Forbidden Door. Like I say, I think you're going to get Hangman and Swerve for the AEW title. I think you will get MJF and Will Ospreay. This is probably the greedy wrestling fan in me, but if he's healthy, I think we're going to finally get Omega and Okada in AEW. I think that's one of the big matches. And then the other one, this is the real greedy wrestling fan in me. That's a sexy shirt. I think we were talking about the Owen tournament. I think the finals will be Danielson against Hangman. But I think Danielson's going to get the tournament cost. Like somebody's going to interfere against him and cost him the tournament. And I think it's going to be one of his all-time greatest rivals. I think Nigel McGuinness is wrestling Bryan
Ooh.
Danielson at All In. I just feel like in my heart of hearts, it has to happen one more time, especially at Wembley. Nigel McGuinness deserves that moment. And I think that would be the motivation for Nigel costing Danielson this tournament, because this is Danielson's last opportunity at the AEW championship, potentially, right? So why not? It's like McGuinness could be like, you know what? My career was ended short. I never got to wrestle in Wembley Stadium. You shouldn't get the opportunity. My greatest rival shouldn't get the opportunity to wrestle for the AEW title. Like I say, I think it just writes itself.
Clam digger. It's funny because my wife, who doesn't, she's not an avid fan. She just pops in occasionally when I'm watching. And she was actually almost saying the same thing you were saying. Like, 'cause she hears Nigel McGuinness talk about Bryan Danielson, and she's like, is he going to wrestle him? Because I feel like, what's the point of all this shit talking if he's not going to wrestle him?
The seeds have been planted a long time here in AEW with McGuinness trashing
For like a year now.
Oh yeah. So, and I think McGuinness can go as far as I know. I don't think anything's really holding him back as far as I know. So, other than maybe magic. So, well, gentlemen, nonetheless, Forbidden Door is going to be a tremendous show. They always hit a home run with it, and I think this year is going to be just that. In closing, I want to ask you guys, do you have any big surprises or predictions that don't include House of Torture?
Nope.
Jake Lee is everyone's dad.
Reese gets on the loose and fights everyone.
Yeah, along with Slimer, but no House of Torture, damn it. I'm going to be so sad if they're all over this show. I'm
More
sorry,
House of
CDC.
Torture.
I love you, but no. Well, this was our predictions for Forbidden Door 2024. And like I say, it's going to be an amazing show. Cannot wait for Sunday night in Long Island. It's going to be awesome. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our prediction show here on Cold TV. I'm Xlj the Og, along with Mr. B-Roll, Reese, the beautiful CDC83, and the very handsome Best Gout Machine. We love you all. We hope you all enjoy AEW and New Japan's and CMLL's and Stardom's Forbidden Door.
I am Megan the Stallion.
Yeah, you are. Bye.